welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious vegan risotto that uses white wine and mushrooms and zero butter, zero cream, and zero cheese. It is super delicious. It's actually really simple to make. It does take a little bit of time and you have to kind of like stand by the stove and watch it, but otherwise it's a delicious recipe, great for gatherings, great for a party, great if you're hosting dinner, or even if you just want a special dinner at home. It is a great option. It can also be jazzed up with different proteins. It makes a great side dish. And it's just one of those recipes I think you will come back to over and over and over again. So we are partnering with Kind of Wild Wine in today's video, and they are an amazing wine company that makes organic, sustainable, delicious wine, and I am using one of their white wines in this recipe, and we're also going to be drinking one of their red wines to pair along with the recipe. So in today's recipe we are using their, let me grab it, their Gruner Veltliner wine. It is a great white wine. It's crisp, it's light, it's from Austria, and it's amazing for cooking, but it is also just as enjoyable for drinking. When you do cook with wine, you want to make sure that you are using a wine that is something that you would honestly like to drink. It's not just something that you're going to throw in a pot, like it will still mess up the flavor if it's something that you don't enjoy. So make sure that when you are cooking, you're using a wine that you enjoy. And I cannot recommend any of their wines enough. So as I said, we are using their Gruner Veltliner in today's recipe. And if you want to find out more information about Kind of Wild Wine, you can find that down below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our white wine and mushroom risotto recipe. All right, so the first step in making risotto is to get all of your ingredients together, of course, but then you want to start to heat your broth. So we're gonna use vegetable broth in this video. You could also use a mushroom broth if you wanted. If you aren't making it vegan, you could also use a chicken stock. So just put that into a pan on your stove, put it on low, and you just want it to stay warm while you go through the whole cooking process. So we'll move back over to the rest of our ingredients and we'll start by prepping our shallots, garlic, and mushrooms. So what you're gonna do with your shallot is peel it and finely dice it. You'll do the same with your garlic. And then for the mushrooms, you're gonna use a total of a pound of mushrooms. You can use any variety that you want. You can mix them, you can match them, you can chop them however you like. I had shiitakes on hand. I love shiitakes in this recipe because they have a kind of meaty texture, but they're also really soft, and I don't feel like they overtake or overpower the dish. I just like to remove the stem from my shiitakes and then I thinly slice them, and then you can just set everything aside. So the first step of actually cooking the risotto is to heat your oil in your pan. This is one of the swaps that we're doing to make it vegan. We are using oil, olive oil, instead of butter. And we're going to saute the shallots, the garlic, and the mushrooms. So you're just gonna saute them in your pan for a good 5 to 8 minutes until everything is golden brown, the mushrooms have softened, the shallots are translucent. And then I also like to season it with salt and pepper. I like to season at every stage, so just give it a hit of salt and pepper. That just will help elevate the flavor of the whole dish later on. Once you've gotten to the point where you are happy with how the mushrooms have cooked, you can remove those and put those to the side in a separate dish and put the pot back on the stove. We're gonna use the same pot. Don't worry about rinsing it out or washing it. You're gonna keep some of that extra flavor in there as we add in the risotto rice. So you're gonna add the remaining of your olive oil into the pan, and then for risotto, the type of rice that you use is called arborio rice. It is a short grain rice. It is fairly starchy. One of the things you wanna make sure you do not do is rinse your rice, because that will remove some of the starch and it will make the risotto not as creamy. So just pour it directly out of the package or whatever you have it in. We're gonna use about 1.5 cups of arborio rice for this recipe. And then we can pour it into the pan with the olive oil. From here, we are going to basically just toast the rice, cook it for a good like 3 to 4 minutes until everything is kind of combined. You start to see the rice get a little bit golden brown. It starts to turn almost translucent, and it starts to get a little bit fragrant. That's when you are ready to add in your wine. So as I said, we are using the Gruner Veltliner from Kind of Wild Wine, and we are gonna use 1 cup of this. If you don't have Gruner, that is totally fine. You can use any type of white wine that you like. I would probably avoid something that is really sugary or sweet to the taste. Do something that's a little more kind of acidic, a little tart, has a little bit of crispness to it. Their Sauvignon Blanc is also amazing in this recipe, so you could do that as well. You'll just pour the white wine directly into the rice, and we're going to let this just cook down until the rice has absorbed most of the wine. And Kind of Wild wine actually is 100% vegan, and it's certified vegan. 95% of most wine is not vegan because it's made with fish oils or filtered with egg whites. So it's really something that sets them apart. And one of the reasons why I was so excited to share them with you, because I know there are a lot of people that follow us here on YouTube that are 100% vegan. So this is an awesome option. And even if you're not vegan, the wine still tastes great. So it's just an added bonus. Now, the next step is the somewhat tedious step of making risotto, and is basically just slowly adding in the broth that we heated up over a period of time. So we're gonna add about a cup of broth at a time to the rice and make sure that the rice has time to absorb all of that broth before we make another addition. So you'll take a cup of the warm broth that you have on your stove, pour it directly into the rice, give it a stir, let it kind of simmer, and just continually stir it until it has absorbed all of that liquid. And then you'll just do the same process over and over and over again until you have used all of the broth. Now, one thing to just keep in mind, you don't have to be stirring it actually constantly. Basically, you just want to make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom or burning. So you can just give it a little stir. You can walk away for 30-ish seconds, give it another little stir, walk away. So you don't have to be like standing at the stove stirring constantly for risotto to work, but it does take some effort on your part to not just like walk away and leave it on the stove, because it will burn to the bottom or it will stick. And you want to make sure that as you are adding in the liquid, you're doing it at a point where it's not getting too dry. So I'm just gonna, so once you have used all of your broth, you are going to just finish off the whole dish by adding the mushrooms back in. We're gonna add some almond milk, and we're gonna add some nutritional yeast, which is giving us that kind of cheesy flavor. You can leave out the nutritional yeast if you don't want, or if you have access to vegan Parmesan, I would do that instead. Up to you. It just adds another extra flavor. And at this point, the risotto is pretty much done. So we're just gonna cook it down until the almond milk has pretty much been absorbed. It doesn't have to be completely absorbed. You can have it be a little bit runny still, because as the risotto gets on the plate and sits on the plate, it will continue to absorb some of the liquid. So just stir it in, and once you feel like it has reached the consistency that you are ready to serve it, you are pretty much done. One way to check if risotto is done is by tasting it. You want to make sure that the rice is tender but still has a little bit of a bite to it. So it's not going to be like a basmati rice or a white rice of any kind that is really soft when you chew it. Risotto still has a chew to it. So don't worry if it has like a little bit of al dente taste to it, that is still perfect. From there, you are, like I said, ready to serve. So just transfer it onto your plate. I like to top it with some fresh herbs, parsley, thyme, rosemary. Those are all great options. You also can leave that off if you want. And you can just dig in and enjoy. All right, so for pairing this risotto, you could definitely do the Gruner. You could also do their other white, which is Sauvignon Blanc. I have one of my favorites open right now, which is why I'm going to pour a glass of this. It is their Tempranillo Grenache blend, and it is a Spanish red. It is delicious, it's light, it's crisp, it's really great with like pretty much all types of food, but I love it with these kind of warm, cozy foods. The other option that I would do, but I don't have it open because I already drank it, was their Montepulciano, which obviously is an Italian red. Risotto is traditionally an Italian dish, so those two also would pair really nicely. But I like doing a red with risotto because risotto is very cozy, and it's just a thing that you want to get like snuggly with. All right, obviously we have to taste it. It is smelling so good. It is so creamy, completely vegan and dairy-free. Wow. Risotto might take a little while to cook, but it is so worth it. You really want that rice to be a little bit crunchy, super creamy, and no, you don't need butter, heavy cream, or cheese to make it super delicious. And of course, I've got to take a sip of red wine to pair it with it. Delish. So if you do want to try this recipe, it is down below this video. It's fully written out. You can make it. I know risotto can feel a little bit challenging or overwhelming sometimes to make, but I promise it is really easy. It just takes a little bit of patience. As you can see through the steps that I walked you through, it's really just adding it, adding the liquid slowly, making sure that you're stirring consistently. Otherwise, it is a very easy dish to make. It's super impressive, it's really crowd pleasing, and it also can be made ahead. So I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. You can tap the red button that is right below this video. And of course, thanks to Kind of Wild Wine for joining us in today's video. I cannot recommend their wines enough. We had it at Thanksgiving. Everyone loved the different options. I'm bringing it to Christmas. It's something that I will continue to reorder. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it is sustainable, it is organic, and it is just really, really high quality and delicious. So make sure to check out their information in the description box below, and there's also a discount code for you to use. Definitely recommend. I just can't say enough good things. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.